Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red subscribe button.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Recently, the weathers have been quite hot and humid in Singapore. Even right from the morning, we have very strong sunlight and it's kind of tiring to go out and shoot in such hot and humid days. So I thought I would do a night shoot instead. So in this video, I will bring you along for a night shoot. I will shoot just 2 scenes using my 4x5 large format cameras. I just took 4 sheets of 4x5 film, but I will process them differently using 2 methods. One is the stand development method and the other one is the normal processing method. Right, so come along with me, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so, and also remember to turn on your notification icon, that is the bell icon, so that you will be informed of my next video. Okay, so let's go. Okay, I'm going to do a night shoot this evening, so I thought I'd show you my 4x5 kit. This is the kit that I usually bring when I go for a 4x5 shoot. First of all, my camera. This is the Chamonix 45N2. That means this is their second version of the 4.5 camera. Now they have a lot more models, but I have this one for like, I think 10 years. So you have been watching my videos, you have seen me use this a few times. It's very light, made up of wood and the carbon fiber. Next is the lens. I usually bring only one lens out, and I use this kind of plastic locking boxes to store the lens. Again, this lens you probably have seen me use many times, either on my box camera or on my 4.5. This is a Fujifilm 210 f5.6. You can see that it has some dented area because I dropped it a few times, but it has still served me well. Right? The shutter speed is getting a bit sticky on the lower speed, like 1/4, half a second, 1 second. So I try to avoid all this speed. For tonight, I'll probably use the T mode. I mean, one press of the shutter button to open up the lens, and then to close the shutter again, just press it one more time, right? So I'll probably use this to control it. The other one is the cable release, right? Most of the time, I will just use my finger to trigger the shutter, but for T mode like that, it's nice to have a shutter release, right, to help with the squeezing and also to prevent vibration. Next is my loop, golden stop 4x loop. Right. Okay. Again, this has been with me for quite a while. As long as I have this camera, made in Germany lens, very useful and focusing. For tonight, I will just bring 2 film holder, double-sided, so I have 4 sheets. I have in mind 2 locations to shoot, and I will just shoot 4 pieces. Probably per scene I will shoot it 2 times because I want to try the 2 different way of developing the film for long exposure. So for film, I am using this Shanghai ISO 100 4x5 film. This film, I think, has quite a bit of reciprocal failure. That means the longer exposure time, you need to compensate by exposing it for longer. Anything more than 1 second, you have to start to compensate. That's a chart that I will refer to, or sometimes I just use my gut feeling and expose it longer than shorter. Right? And I have my light meter. This is the Pentax spot meter that most people like to use for large format. It's a bit bulky, but I think that's fine. I like the old analog way of looking into it. It has a needle, and then you just need to align the exposure number here and match it with the aperture and the shutter speed, right? Of course, after having set the ISO. I also have this simple Nikon light meter. I will probably just bring this along also, just as a backup. Okay guys, now it's about 7:20 p.m. I'm just at this Toa Payoh Central. There is this open area here where there is a stage and some good lighting. You can see the lights are on and we have nice shadows. The sky is now blue. I will take 2 shots of the same composition, same shutter speed, aperture, same settings. Okay, so what I've done was to meet. It's a bit dark here, but the EV value is about 4. That will give me at f22 30 seconds, right? So I have no need to compensate for the Shanghai film. Let me check what is it. So at 30 seconds, we need to extend the exposure time to 167 seconds, right? So I run it 180, that is 3 minutes, right? So a total of 3 minutes. So let's do the exposure now. Okay, this is setup 2. Alright, McDonald's. I think I'm going for this kind of view. This 210. Alright, so I'm going to develop 2 sheets out of the 4 that I shot using the stand development method. And that means to sit the film in the chemicals for about an hour. But my usual orbiter tank, I couldn't really use it for that method. So I thought I will use my AP tank. This is the tank that we used to develop 35mm film, but we can use what we call the darkroom method to develop the 4.5 film in it. So let me show you how. Right, this is just a sample film, 4.5 film. So what we need to do is that we need to bend the film. The emulsion side should be curved in, right, facing inside, and we will fold it along the length, right, this manner, and then we just have a rubber band across it. Okay, and then what we need to do, you can see this tank, right, I will just bend it in and push it all the way down to the tank. The piece of film is sitting inside the tank, right, with the rubber band there, and I'll do the same thing for the second piece. So for the second piece, again sample piece, just fold it emulsion face in, tie a rubber band, and then slot it in. Right, you should slot in, sit all the way against the bottom of the tank. Right, you can use this to develop up to I think about 4 pieces of film. There's space for that, and then fill up the tank with the chemical. I think I will mix about 1 liter of it, so they will fill up all the way to the top of the tank, right? So because there's a tendency that sometimes this film is full up, and if there is not enough chemical, you will see that the top part will not develop evenly. So for doing the stand development, I'm going to use my favorite developer, Kodak HC110. So for stand development, I'm going to use dilution G. That is the ratio of 1 part of the syrup, 119 parts of water. So I'm going to mix 1 liter. So I have this measuring cylinder. It's not going to be that precise. So somewhere about, I'll pour now about 9. It's about 10 ml, but that's okay. I'm just going to pour it in. Okay. So you see that I'm washing the measuring cylinder a few times, because the HC1 syrup will stick to the side. So wash it down with water a few times to get most of the syrup in, and I will just mix total of 1 liter with it. Right, so I have in the tank now some water just to give it a pre-wash. Right, I'm ready to pour that out, and then we'll pour in the developer. So hopefully the 2 pieces of film will sit down at the bottom. Okay, and then we can pour in the developer. I'm going to just flood the whole tank with the solution, so that in case the film float up, it will still be covered by the processing chemical. Okay, so you can see that it's covered up. Right, I just going to give it a few turns. Okay, so that the chemical get onto all the surface of the film. Alright, and then give it a tap. So I'm just starting the timer for 30 minutes because at the end of 30 minutes we will come back and give it a few inversion to agitate the chemicals. Then after that we will continue to process it for another half an hour, making a total of 1 hour. Okay, 30 minutes is up. So I'm just going to give it a few inversion just to agitate the chemical.
Eventually.
Alright, so 1 hour is up. So let's pour the developer. Right, so I fill up with water. Again, just invert it a few times. Make sure you cover all the film surface. Right, and then we can prepare to pour in the fixer. Okay, so I pour out the water which added as a stop bath. And now I'm going to pour in the rapid fixer. This is a Ufert rapid fixer 1+9. Again, I'm going to pour it until it covers the whole tank, and then we'll leave it inside for like 4 minutes. Okay, so we have one sheet here. The other piece, the rubber band has dropped out. I'm not sure you can see. That seems to be quite common. Yeah, but hopefully we get something developed. Still seems okay. Alright, so we have 4 pieces of negative here. The top row, these 2 of them, are by the stand development. Right, and the bottom 2 are by my usual method, HC110 dilution B. Usually I develop for 7 minutes, but for this night shoot, I cut it down to 6 minutes at the same 20 degrees Celsius. Now my light bulb is not on yet because I just want to show you that somehow for the 2 that use the stand development, they turn out to be a bit of brownish tone in the negative, right? And you can see it clearly when you compare it to the bottom 2, right? Not sure why is this so. Both of them are fixed for like 4 minutes. Right, so I don't think it's a fixing. Something to investigate further. Okay, let's take a look at these 2 shots of the first scene. The first is by stand and the one is by dilution B. Right, I don't see a lot of difference here. Right, this part is the shadow area. Okay, slightly more details here in the one that I use the dilution B. Right, other than that, there's some difference in tone, but otherwise in terms of exposure, I don't think there is a lot of difference. Okay, so in the top photos, the one that's by stand, I see some details in the here. There's an e-bike park here, and by the time I took the second shot, the e-bike is already gone. The pavement here, there's details in both shots. Otherwise, again, I don't see a big difference whether between the stand development or the dilution B, except for the stand, we see a more grayish tone in across the whole negative. Right. These 2 are printed using the negative I developed using the standing method. This is printed at 8 seconds and this is printed at 6 seconds. Right. The next print is from the negative that I developed using dilution B, HC110. The reason I can tell is that because in this negative there isn't 2 bicycles here, whereas for the other negative we can see the 2 e-bikes here. Right, so by the time I took this, the 2 e-bikes has already left. So for this one, I think I also contact print for 8 seconds, but this one I can see some details at the ground, right? So I guess the negative that I developed for dilution B works better for this timing. I'm sure for the one that I use stand, there's some details here, but we just need to tone down the timing, right? Even at 6 seconds, it recovers some back, but not all, right? Okay, next we have the second scene. This contact print was printed using the negative that I developed using the stand method. And the shadow here, most detail are lost, but I could still see the e-bike details here, right? And for, as I mentioned, for this scene I actually meter not the shadow, instead I meter for the lighted area somewhere here, right? So but otherwise on the ground I think we can still have some details, as you can see here. Only this pillar is mostly in deep shadows. The next print is using the negative that I developed using the dilution B HC110. Pretty much the same, except there's no e-bike. The e-bike has been wrote off. The e-bike was already gone when I take this scene. Overall it looks pretty much the same. Both were contact printed for 1 second. Foreground details are still there, right? Hi guys, thank you for watching to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the process where I take you through the shoot, the processing and the printing. If you have any suggestions or tips on how I can improve my night photography, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below and I will get back to you. I certainly hope to do more such night photography in different parts of Singapore. I think it does offer a different perspective to the usual daylight shoot that we normally do. So once again, thank you and I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye! Hi guys, we have come to the end of this video. Please like it, share it, and finally do subscribe to my channel and I'll see you at my next video. Take care. Bye!